This college basketball championship edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is presented by WynnBET. WynnBET is live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. For boosted same game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBET has what you need to win. Bet 100, get 100 at WynnBET.com or download the WynnBET app and start winning today. State restrictions apply. Plus, make sure to fill out our listener survey for a chance to win a $100 SGPN gift card. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survey.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Cox. He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Ooh, welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, second the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog. I'm feeling quite tired considering this is only quarter of draft day.
Well,
but I mean, we were just on the air for 5.5 hours,
yes.
living and dying with every moment. Unfortunately, second game not as good as the first game.
Well, speak for yourself. Some of us had a nice UConn cash, including giving out UConn -12 at half, despite the haters. Joining us to talk college basketball from the College Basketball Experience, Colby Dan, aka Pick Dundee. What's up, Colby?
Still haven't seen the tapes of those calls, Sean. You know, just like Epstein, dying in that cell. Still haven't seen those tapes. We can't find the tapes anywhere. What's going on?
The guards were sleeping over at CBS. They didn't have the recording in there. Nothing to be concerned about.
Well, both resulted in a lot of people getting fucked.
Sure, it's all in the up and up.
Well, we just watched an amazing 5.5 hours of college basketball. We did the live stream for almost 6 hours. Joining us in studio, new social media viral star, Mr. Justin Decker, celebrating his Aztec win. It got a little bit dark there for a while. We were certainly nervous here in the studio, but let's walk through the entire game, Decker. How are you doing overall?
I mean, I can't even believe that happened. I felt good at halftime because I thought that they got lucky and FAU had to have a little come down from knocking down all those threes, and San Diego State, they got them out of their game on the screens. They were making a lot of threes. Knew that we can get more offensive rebounds, cut down their 3-point shots, we would be okay. And I mean, that's ended up what happened.
Decker's mid-game handicap, really. I
told you.
SDSU was down 7 at half, and Decker came into the studio and was pretty confident, felt pretty good. Hey, we got to get those rebounds. We got to close out on their 3-point shots. We're going to be okay. And they got an amazing amount of rebounds. TJ from the research staff had this great nugget. San Diego State rebounded 56% of their misses in the second half. Yeah. That's insane.
They should have actually been up by more, considering that they just couldn't score on a lot of those rebounds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
they need opportunities because they're not a high volume shooting team.
Well, no, and you look at the stats here. To your point, Colby, not only were they missing like putbacks that they probably should have had, they were 13 of 22 from the line. I mean, again, I was on San Diego State. I know Kramer at FAU in the points, so that was an easy cover. I even mentioned, I forget if it was on the show or right after. I go, Kramer, you should have predicted San Diego State on the money line, FAU to cover, because then our gals go to the championship and you get the cover. This is actually the first time ever in March Madness that a team won their Elite Eight game by 1 point and a team won their Final Four game by 1 point to move on. Really, really crazy. Obviously, San Diego State going 9 of 18 from behind the arc really carried them. It's as bad as their offense looked. They hit some 3 balls. What was your take overall, Decker?
Well, they've won every single game in a different way. I mean, they dominated the low seeds. They had to play a 15 seed, I think, Fairfield in the number 2 game. It was such a domination there. but this game they won by making threes. It's like every game has just been different. It's serendipitous. I mean, they could have gotten blown out in this game. I mean, to be honest, but I don't even think that's a knock on them. FAU was hitting three-pointers.
They could have blown out FAU in the second half because FAU completely unraveled. They finished 9 out of 22 from behind the arc.
They made the adjustments.
Yeah,
you know who this team is starting to remind me of is the 2019 Virginia team. That's just super elite defensively. Super elite defensively, can drive. And when they get down 8-10 points, they would just find a way. I mean, San Diego State was down to Charleston. They were down to Alabama by 9. They were down to Creighton by 7 in the second half.
Well, we had talked about that because on the live stream, Colby goes when they were getting down to 8 or 9. Hey, they can't get down more because they don't have the offense to come back. And we were talking about this that hey, they came back 8 down 9. I mean, that second half started off pretty similar to how the first half ended with like FAU kind of controlling them, and then just towards the second half of that second half. FAU just got in their own head, man. Like it was just really, they were pushing the ball when they didn't need to push it. Very sloppy, forcing some early 3-pointers that they didn't need to do.
And Brian in the chat says serendipitous is the biggest word ever used on this podcast. I thought that was a guy on the bench. I thought that was a guy on the bench. I was checking the stat sheet. Is there a guy named Serendipitous on the team?
He's a transfer, 5th-year transfer from South Africa.
Per Ken Palm. Not only did San Diego State not have a single moment before the end of the game where they had a greater than 50% win probability in the second half, but at the 14-minute mark, 14 minutes remaining in the game, they had a 9.5% chance of victory.
Wow, and they were down 14. Yeah,
but that's the experience, man. And you can't say that it's just they got lucky. They've done this in several games
in this tournament.
Yeah,
and the reffing in that game was just bonkers. I mean, I don't even think it benefited overall like one side or the other. They, San Diego State 22 free throws, FAU 21. It was just what they were calling and what they weren't calling, and when they were calling it and when they weren't calling it was really all over the map. It was pretty wild. Yeah,
it was inconsistent.
Yeah, especially with the Bradley foul on number 1. He fouled a 3-point shot that they didn't call on FAU. Like when they were up by 10.
But then hit him on the elbow.
Yeah,
right?
But then they had a makeup call. It seemed like going down the other way, and then they were making up calls after that.
I think the refs did a bad job on both sides.
The big white guys block.
Yeah, they were just.
Yeah.
The Russian did block him clean.
Yeah, he did. When a rope, he almost threw it through the rim and it bounced. Yeah, that was a clean block too.
I agree. But there was some the other way too.
So the question always was: San Diego State drags you out to the deep water.
Yeah.
Can you handle it? FAU handled it, and then just out of nowhere decided they were going to freak out and not be able to handle it. I was trying to convince Decker before the game, and perhaps we can share some takeaways from the second game. But I almost felt like the UConn matchup would be a better one for San Diego State.
Yeah, no way.
Because I think I'm confident that they'll be able to rough them up.
Yeah,
I don't know if you drag Miami. Like I understand Miami just got their ass beat by UConn, but I also think that in a matchup versus San Diego State, they're more equipped to handle.
Miami's more like Florida Atlantic, which I think Florida Atlantic gave more problems to San Diego State than maybe every other team.
Exactly, my point in that they're equipped to handle the nonsense that San Diego State's going to throw at you.
But UConn just has bigger guards. Like if they need to win the game like that, the thing is San Diego is really deep with their big men. They can make adjustments.
Ooh.
But if they bully, Klingon and what's his name? I keep wanting to say Sudoku. I don't know why. Very talented guy, but they could kind of bully them in the first half and make those line changes. But UConn's guards are going to be a problem.
See, I think that's
they're like against Trammell and Butler's really good, but
that's what I think the advantage lies all on San Diego State's side. Like as far as like we saw Miami not press. San Diego State a lot of times will guard you the entire fucking court.
And they got a deep rotation to take care of that. Jake in the YouTube chat, our merch god, Jake Payquin, saying he had San Diego State live plus 600. We discussed that. I didn't get down on that. I did get down on SDSU plus 160 live to make up for my minus 1.5 loss.
Good to see that Jake's doing well. I know he was pretty sauced earlier. Unlike Patty C, who's taking a nap right now.
Yeah, keep it down. Patty C is it's a I mean, it's 9 o'clock in the evening. He's been out for like a solid 2 hours.
Even
like a bear who got hit by a trank dart on our couch.
Yeah, I don't think Patty C could run 35 miles an hour. All right,
we got to play the clip from the. If you weren't watching our show, go to @GamblingPodcast, YouTube.com/Sports Gambling Podcast. That subscribe button, because the reaction. I mean, watching that live, when that shot went up, I thought it was going to go left on the rim. It just didn't look like a good shot, but we got the clip from the live show.
You can see this. This is actually the one that got edited up by our guy Noah. So there's even some game footage here. Hopefully the guys.
And before you do that, of course, shout out to WinBet. Again, bet 100, get 100. Limited to state availability. So many ways to win over at WinBet.com. Spin that parlay wheel. You're home for the national championship game. Offer subject to change, terms and conditions at winbet.com. Must be 21 or older and present in the state where play through WinBet is available. If you're somebody who has a gambling problem, 1-800-522-4700. Bet big, win even bigger. Kramer?
All right, so I want to just, before we start playing this,
real quick, breaking news. Jake Paquin still sauced.
I want everyone to make sure that as the shot is going through, just the top right corner in the office cam, just make sure you just the speed at which first he shows us the triple jump in his own apartment, and now he shows us his lightning.
Really, again.
I mean, the 3-cone speed on this man. All right, here we go.
Explosive.
Here we go.
15, 14.
They're going to John L. Davis. They're the team's best player. Nice little move. Up, blocked.
All right,
here we go. They got 8 seconds.
7.
Oh my God, they're gonna win the game.
Butler.
That's not who you want to shoot
2 seconds.
this.
2 seconds. He's got to put it up. He wins it with the jumper. A San Diego State miracle.
Oh, he's going for the win. There we go. Let's go.
There's a lot of flexing going on by Decker. My hat comes off.
Wait for it.
Holy shit! Woo!
That's crazy.
God damn, this sport's
Wait for
amazing.
it.
But we didn't get the blue bloods in. This is a Final Four.
Oh, Decker yelling right into Sister Jean's face.
Oh my God. And we're back here. That was so great.
I don't even know I look like that.
Oh, it was awesome,
so
Decker. Everyone was loving
What
it.
do you
And
mean? It looked like what? Looked like a maniac who's excited.
My favorite part, I think, was the rest of the watch party for the second game. Decker was still amped. He was still pacing around.
Dude, it's so
People
great.
in the chat were like, "Tell Decker to relax. His team won." He's like, he didn't have that off switch.
No, when you're that close, it's like you want to size up the other guys. It's like
Yeah.
I'm scouting for the other team.
Yeah.
Well, now
I get
let the
that.
perfect transition to the other game. Decker was rooting pretty hard for Miami with the idea of like, hey, we beat Miami. We're good to, or, if Miami wins against UConn, that gives us a better shot, which I understand that logic. But to me, it's kind of a toss up. And the idea that if Miami was truly good enough to knock down this UConn team, maybe you wouldn't want that smoke from that Miami team. There are matchups. I get it. I mean, you look at the spread alone, I understand why you'd be rooting for Miami, but to me, it's like it's a complete new thing. It would be, I compared it again to the 2017 Eagles, where
Oh wow, Carson Wentz
no,
coming at that tunnel.
no, the Super Bowl, where if I was rooting, I would have rooted for the Jags. But again, the fact that the Patriots came back, beat the Jags, that was really an all-time conference championship game. It was Case Keenum, Nick Foles in the NFC Championship game, and then Blake Bortles and Tom Brady.
Wow.
And then we got to take down Tom Brady.
It's a baby fucking wheel, man.
You never know how it shakes out in one game. Bringing us to that one game. Or well, actually, let's recap the Miami UConn game. I mentioned
Sean rooted for UConn. It was super lame.
Well, because
that's it. That's the
I thought
story.
They didn't replay any of the calls.
I thought UConn was gonna work them pretty good. They're a much better team. Miami turned into the pumpkin that I predicted.
Thought Laranaga's press conference nailed it. He said, even at halftime that they went to the drawing board and one of his players wrote down to share the basketball, and he goes, and we never did the whole game. That stood out to me. You had Isaiah Wong, you had Nigel Pack trying to take on the whole team,
too much,
jumping before they knew what they were doing with the basketball, which often led to turnovers. And I thought UConn's bigs and just the momentum was too much. UConn's playing great ball right now.
Well, and you want to talk about crazy discrepancy. Miami was 12 for 12 from the line. UConn only 7 of 13. That was a pretty big difference, but they dominated rebounding and they dominated shooting. I mean, Miami shot 32% from the field. You're just not going to win a lot of tournament games shooting 32% from the field. Like I said, UConn dominated with the rebounding. Seemed like they outcoached them. The second half was tied though. Like it seemed like Miami had some little bit of runs here or there, but they just couldn't connect it and kind of got sloppy and just felt like too big. The moment was too big for them.
Yeah, unfortunately, it seems like disgusting again how Sean is supporting the Hurleys right now.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I mean,
secondly, just Larinaga, heartless. Team, like you said, team didn't share the ball.
I thought they should have went to a full court press earlier.
Put a little effort, right?
Even when they did, I thought it was lackluster. But credit to UConn. They were.
What did we like back to the game? Or you want to talk about the game now? Are we allowed to talk? Are we done talking about your UConn Huskies?
I feel we owed it to the fans to do a nice recap.
No, you're the only one that rooted for UConn. You're the only one who's interested in talking about UConn.
Well, I'm also interested in talking about male health, and particularly male erections. If you're not getting a great erection in the morning, you're certainly missing out, and Sword Vitality can help make that happen. It can help increase your blood flow in ways that help you thrive as a man. I mean, we saw Decker running around. Blood was flowing. I can't speak for Decker just said he was rock hard. Decker, you got to get that on mic. Again, if you want to be as rock hard as Decker was this afternoon in the bedroom, you could use some help from Sword Vitality. Nothing to be ashamed of. Gives you increased blood flow, increase your stamina. Just go to swordvitality.com. Use the promo code SGPN. Get a nice discount at checkout. Swordvitality.com. Promo code SGPN. Unsheath your sword. And also Shady Rays. Ryan was rocking his Shady Rays in studio, popping them on right now over on YouTube. Love my Shady Rays as well. We're going to be doing the Circa Stadium Swim this week for the Masters. Shout out to Paul, longtime listener to our show, Golf Gambling Podcast. He actually won the Circa contest, so maybe we'll bring him some Shady Rays. Those sunglasses are amazing. Again, if you lose or break your Shady Rays, even on day one, they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Rock your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after purchase. Shady Rays, you look good and you feel good and you bet good, especially if you're following my picks, aka the locks. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays are giving you the best deal of the year. Go to shadyrays.com, use promo code SGPN, get 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 200,000 people. Kramer briefly put on his snorkeling mask.
I thought Alfred here.
Who?
Alfred in the chat saying Miami missed 20 layups. That's true, but they were contested layups. Often, their guards were penetrating and having to go up against the bigs of UConn. Yeah. I still think that might be consistent.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration
if they played it
Their
again.
Their penetration came up short. They could have used some Sword Vitality. Yeah, like they said. If you looked at the stat and it said missed layups, but to your point, Colby, like how many of those layups did you think like those should have gone in? It felt like it was tough sledding for Miami.
Well, there was a lot of ISO, like they were taking on the whole team, and I thought that's what Larinaga was right on in the post game. Was like, man, we were playing 1-on-5 on a lot of possessions, and I think that was one of the clear areas of weakness. Now I understand UConn's height was going to be a problem regardless, so that's what I'm saying. I don't know if that stat would be any different if they played again right now.
Yeah, I mean, to me again, UConn, and I think looking ahead to the championship game, I think the scariest part about the matchup is UConn's defense. I think San Diego State's defense against UConn, they can kind of hang with them, but I am worried about the San Diego State offense. Like, what do you make of it? And UConn's defense, I think, probably one of the more underrated units in the tournament, especially coming into the Final Four. Decker, start with you. What's your take on SDSU's offense against this Husky defense?
Well, what's important is, I mean, historically, if you look at the team, they've been built on defense and physicality and senior leadership. They've kind of been pigeonholed for the last 15 years. And with the extra COVID year, they have that times 10. They have men who fucking bang. But right now, to your point,
they lift weights.
They usually have one shooter. Like a few years ago, it was Malachi Flynn. Now they have 3, and with Parrish making a couple threes, you could say they have 4 shooters who are actually on fire, all of them.
Periodically.
And now it's a short turnaround, and they're still going to be hot. So anything can happen if they play their defense and they hit some of these shots. If they hit 7 3-pointers on Monday, they can win. But I think they kind of need to hit that line, like 6 or 7. And they can do that. They have 4 guys who are hot.
And normally San Diego State, normally for me, fits the team that I want to fade. Like after that win after Alabama, it's a perfect letdown spot. You knocked off the #1 team in the tournament. I mean, Decker, as a SDSU fan, if they would have lost to Creighton, you still would have said like, "Hey, that's a pretty good season. We beat Alabama in the tournament." You could have been happy with that, but they got up for that Creighton game, and then that rolled over to this game, like back-to-back 1-point wins. You would say normally, I think you look to fade those type of teams, but man, it's tough to go against the San Diego State team.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, they didn't, and they've won different ways. Right now, they're on fire. I think they can bully Klingon. This guy, Sonogo. I mean, he's just he hit 2 3-pointers.
Yeah, I think Brian Dutcher will give him that all day. If he's hitting it, he's hitting it.
He looked so uncomfortable with the threes. It was he was just so surprised he was that wide open. Hit those threes.
But he wasn't just a post-up guy. He was diving to the basket. He was
he's a great player.
I mean, he's a handful.
Now we were Googling what time dusk happens in Houston because Sonogo is practicing Ramadan, and maybe you don't notice it for that first game, but I imagine on a quick turnaround, not eating during the day, maybe it impacts you a little bit more.
I mean, I would imagine there's been high like Salah for the Egyptian national team in Liverpool. It seems like it kind of affects guys, but they somehow are able to play through it. Like,
they're young.
The game is at night. He'll probably get a PB&J or whatever his protein.
Well, I don't want to be controversial, but maybe just like the injection they're getting in their knee. Maybe they're getting hooked up with the nutrients.
Yeah, you can get around it in this day and age.
Yeah, exactly.
Kramer, what's your take on the game?
Oh, my take on the game is I think exactly what Decker was getting to when he was talking about the experience of this team. They're a bunch of grown ass men. They lift fucking weights, and I think let's see what happens when UConn gets dragged out to the deep end of the pool. I absolutely think they're obviously going to need to score, but look, as someone who has coached teams to championships, something you notice is that belief is a powerful thing. And I coached a U12 girls soccer team. First game in the playoff round, we were horrible. Won 1 game all season. Won the first round of the playoffs in a penalty shootout. Boom. Now they believe they could win any game, and that was
beautiful.
That. And this fucking San Diego State team. I mean, again, they were less than a 10% chance to win that game. Clawed back. I don't see them. I certainly look at the spread. I see Ken Pom projects it to be only 5, Sean. So I would imagine we'll see this 7.5 come down. as people bet into it.
Really? Because I mean,
it should. I mean,
I see an 8.
I saw Moneyline Mac in the chat saying he thought the line could go up.
That's fascinating. Maybe it's chalky.
I think
right?
we're in
East
a
Coast
San Diego
bias.
State bubble here because I think UConn is fairly popular.
Well, again, Ken Pom projects it at 5, so perhaps usually he's not that far off the market. So perhaps it's a matchup thing. I do think the experience, the strength. And I think if you're San Diego State, you always defend. You have to go out there and just what happens if we hit this dude in the mat? Like we're just gonna body him up from the fucking 3-point line.
I'll tell you what,
and see what he can do.
And if you want to bet here, the bet I would do, I'm not gonna
listen.
I would go first half under.
We liked fading UConn early in the tourney because we thought they sometimes they sometimes struggle to deal with pressure. They had Iona. Then there was St. Mary's and VCU. None of those teams gave them any trouble. But it was
they didn't play VCU.
They played St. Mary's.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like any of those teams actually tried to go out of their way and make it just 40 minutes of fucking hell.
I think there's two things that could be happening.
This is not a superiorly talented athletic team.
Either UConn is an extremely dominant team that is just so much better than everyone else in the tournament,
That's not true, though.
Or they just haven't been tested. They haven't
San
been
Diego
tested
State's
because of their
as
path.
athletic as them.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're going to look at a model,
UConn can shoot.
San Diego State, go back to the Alabama game. I think it would be the closest you could do to compare UConn, even though they played differently. I think though San Diego State has to take advantage. I think the weakness, and even Miami made that little run tonight when they applied pressure.
Yeah.
UConn's guards are vulnerable, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They're vulnerable if you are able to press them all game, and they have the rotation to do that.
Yeah.
Whether it's them putting Lamont Butler, Trammell, or whoever
They
on
are
him.
32nd in the country in bench minutes. So that's a large amount. Like what Decker was walking around the office. We got fouls to give.
Yeah, the
we got
fouls
9
didn't
guys
matter.
playing.
The fouls never matter. It hasn't all season. They've had a strategy against big guys like Colorado State. There's not very many big teams that they've played in the Mountain West, but what they do is Dutcher can slow down the game. He gave up the most points he did since Baylor, and he gave up 40 points at halftime, and that's the most recent tape that UConn has. So I would just expect him to slow down the game. Maybe put 3 big guys in the game at the same time. Put Johnson, Arope, and Ledee in at the same time when you switch out Mensah, and try to block that high-low game and just slow it down in the first half, then see what you have. And he has been able to make adjustments in every single game this season.
How many
So you got to
points-
slow down the first half. I would go the under.
How many points did San Diego State hold FAU to in the last 10 minutes of that game? Last quarter of the game?
I don't
mean,
know,
it
but
felt like they barely scored.
11 points.
I was saying they need to stop 3 out of the next 4 drives, or else they're not going to win, and they did. So it could have been.
Ryan Hasty in the chat with a good point there. UConn and their turnover problem. UConn is 236 in the nation in turnover percentage. That is something that can really swing this game.
San Diego State gets deflections. Really
I even think you look at the teams. You look at the teams UConn lost to, whether it's Seton Hall or Marquette. I feel like San Diego State kind of plays like them. Kind of. You know what I mean? Like they're
fighting you.
Yeah. Very physical. And I'm excited for this matchup because I don't think this is a blowout. I think this is where their blowout streak stops.
They've only lost their games in the Big East, right? They've only lost 8.
Yeah, they're
games,
undefeated
out
of the conference. Yeah.
So we have to look at who they played, like who they lost. Yeah.
The spread is
Seton Hall, Marquette. I think they lost to Providence. I think they might have lost to St. John's.
And you're right, Sean. The early indications is that the number opened at 7. It's UConn's being bet. So, what the fuck?
They're getting down.
No, go first half under. That's all.
First half under.
That's the only thing I can say. Brian Dexter's going to flip the script and just go slow and see what he has.
I don't think he has to worry about foul trouble too. Let's say Sanogo or the UConn bigs are able to get theirs, and if it's Ledee, if it's Mensah getting in foul trouble, they got Arop, they got Johnson. I feel like they have guys pretty deep that are pretty tall.
Yeah, Arop can guard anybody too. Their biggest guy.
I really think there's going to be if the refs allow a physical game.
Yeah, I hope they usually do too in the championship. So that benefits San Diego State.
You can't over officiate this game. If you do, San Diego State's screwed. Period. Can't be a free throw shooting.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing. They can't, regardless of how many fouls they call, you can't go 13 from 22 at the line because their offense, sputters. You
typical.
need those.
They can do that again.
That's what they do every game.
Yeah. I know. I'm just saying, like your margin is so small though.
But the overall 1 seed of this whole tournament was Alabama. They went 13 of 22 from the free throw line in that game.
All right. Well,
that's just their style.
Fuck it. Miss the free throws.
They get a rebound on those free throws.
They did it towards the end, didn't they?
Yeah.
There is some legitimacy of like if you're gonna try to build logic around why teams might shoot worse against San Diego State, they are physically beating you up.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like, we made this case where like how many wide open shots did Creighton get, but they looked exhausted. They looked exhausted.
They
like,
were
damn.
exhausted.
And look what happened. FAU. I was saying at halftime, they're making some of the shots that Creighton and Alabama weren't. And then what happened in the second half? Adjustments, and you see where that number now updated number is number 3 in the country. Adjusted 3-point defense from San Diego State, and FAU looked tired as well. They look tired. They look unorganized, and that's a product of the defensive adjustments.
Yeah, I mean, Dutcher said it in that timeout. When they interviewed one of the players, he said, "Yeah, we're going to get a stop right here. We're going to get a stop right here and go down and make the game win a shot." And boom, that veteran leadership right there. Yeah,
yeah. Look, I there's not much of a handicap here. Like, look, I'm not originating my own college basketball numbers right now. Because it's the postseason, but again, a number this far off Ken Palm. What are we doing?
Lock it up. 7.5 SDSU. Give me some of the San Diego State Aztecs on the money line, bringing home the national championship. I just think we haven't seen UConn tested, and this San Diego State team's seen it all and still figured out ways to win. And they got a little bit of mojo left in them.
Bart Torvik, he's projecting this a UConn -4.
Welcome to UAB in the chat says he has it as UConn -9.
What do you mean?
Jeez.
Oh, he originates.
Seven,
He originates.
7 out of the top 9 rotation that San Diego State plays are seniors. Some of them super seniors. The other 2 are still upperclassmen that are juniors.
How many of these guys were on the D-Gen Madness?
I mean, a decent amount, I think.
Mensa for sure.
Yeah,
maybe Lamont Butler was a freshman or something.
I feel like
a rope.
I think there's a chance.
A rope was.
I think there's a chance YouTube deleted some of these D-Gen Madness streams. Just trying to find. I want to replay the fucking champ.
Maybe they work for CBS too. They just can't show the tape.
Oh, all right. No, you know what? Mention Twitch has it.
All right, so let's close things out with our final score predictions. Colby, go first. What do you got?
Give me a 68-66 San Diego State win. There's something about this team. It's got Tony Bennett vibes about this team. Every game's a rock fight. They were down. Has there been one game where they just weren't? Oh no, the Furman game. The Furman game was the only game where they weren't down. Charleston had it up 6 in the second half. Creighton had it up 7. Bama had it up 9. FAU was up whatever that number was tonight, 14. There's something about this team.
Who wins in Ryan? What would you set the spread? San Diego State 2023 versus the Sim Champs SDSU in 2020.
Great question. I think. I mean,
both if they played in real life and virtual.
They don't have a Malachi Flynn.
Yeah.
And I think
that guy was awesome.
I think at the end of the day, it's probably what they miss is they don't have a guy that can go out there and get their shot.
Yeah,
I think
that's true.
But I actually think this team is better offensively than that team because they did add Bradley and Trammell from the portal. I think those 2 guys were huge gets for them. So I think they have more guys that can score. They might not be as well as a shot
this
creator.
Team's better than that team.
Yeah.
I think so. They were up to what? They're at their best. They were up. They were 6th ranked when the COVID hit.
Yeah.
I mean that's
they're
an
still
ultimate
30-2,
high.
but I mean,
yeah.
I got to go with the 2022.
I think this team's better.
Ultimate champs.
Malachi Flynn was
They
pretty,
defeated COVID.
pretty fire.
Kramer, what do you got the final score?
Strangely, I don't see Ken Pom doesn't have 2020 as a season I can choose. He must have missed D-Gen Madness.
So other than UCLA, a California team has not won the national championship since 1959.
Wow.
Oh, other than UCLA, yeah, because that makes
right.
they won like 9 in a row in the 70s.
Because
wow, that's crazy.
San Diego State wins.
That's wild.
70-69.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna say San Diego State wins 69-66. Give me the Aztecs getting it done.
Nice.
Decker, final prediction here. What do you got?
You guys saved me for last, but I was gonna have them winning by a point in the 60s. So
right,
now I have to do a score that's not what your score is.
No, come on.
Did we do 66-65?
No.
I want to go the under. I want to get the under. So 64-63.
You would be
64-63.
Yeah, 64-63.
Would put you on the.
You know, I'm not going to have them losing, obviously.
Total sin at 132. All right. Hey, thank you everyone for tuning in. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. And got a bunch of podcasts coming at you this week. We will be live from Circus Stadium Swim talking Masters. We will be doing our Masters preview podcast live Tuesday night from our studio. Bunch of Masters stuff over at the Stadium Swim. Got you covered with some NFL pods in the off season, XFL. So many games to bet on.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, second the money green, and he is Ryan.
Good luck, Decker.
Kramer.
Let's go Aztecs. I'm going to get a shell and blow into it like the mascot.
Yes.
Let it ride.
Hell yeah.